Comes Sims, pedaling into the paint, leaning and hitting a 10-0 run to start this game for Indiana, and Minnesota wants a timeout. Caitlin Clark knows it.
After Indiana's third straight win, Kelsey Mitchell's locker room speech wasn't the usual kind. She didn't talk about stats, personal praise, or the final score. Instead, she spoke about something deeper, something that had been quietly growing throughout the season.
I know a lot of people would talk about Nafisa not playing, but I think they're really good with or without her. You know, they're just a really great basketball team. So I think it was a big win for us because they set the bar high standard wise. We know what to expect when it comes to Minnesota Lynx, and so I think going into the playoffs, it was big for us because being able to know guarding Courtney Williams, knowing that her thing is a pull-up, knowing that now instead of not knowing that, it's big for us because we give ourselves a chance. And if they are the standard, we get to see where we are.
The Fever had just beaten the Lynx, even though they were missing 5 key players, including Caitlin Clark, the league's biggest star. When Mitchell spoke, her words summed up what this team has been fighting for. She wasn't flashy or focused on herself, but she captured the change happening in Indiana. The Fever don't see themselves as just surviving anymore. They're not underdogs. They're becoming real contenders, rewriting what Indiana Fever basketball means.
With the MVP, okay? Bow, bow, bow! Hell yeah. You already know what it is. Dubs in the shake, you already know what it is. You already know what it is. Let's go to the playoffs with some momentum, baby.
Fever have won 3 games in a row purely through resilience. They kept winning even when injuries should have taken them down. Think about it. No Clark, no Sophie Cunningham, no Sydney Colson, no Chloe, and no Ari McDonald. That's 5 key rotation players gone. The team lost its engine, its shooters, its defenders, and its playmakers during the most important parts.
That I've been impressed with these guys since even the offseason. Really, the ones that I was able to work out with in the offseason is how hard they work. There's a work ethic and there's a work style. And to approach everything in the same way, to be so energetic, enthusiastic, and dedicated every day. And I felt that way in training camp too. There weren't any days where I had to bring that out of them. So I think it's the nature of the women that we've brought into this organization to continue to just bust their butts and play hard.
For most teams, that many injuries would have ended their season. Fans were already wondering if the Fever could even stay competitive or just make it through the games. The playoffs seemed like a fading dream. But then, something unexpected happened.
You get knocked down, it's how many times you get back up. And, these are things that you have to go through. I often say there's no substitute for experience, and the experience that these guys have had to have to continue to reinvent, to have to continue to find different ways to get back up and to play through some different struggles is not just paying us dividends this season, but as far as what it's doing for our culture, it's going to pay dividends for many years to come.
Instead of giving up or dwelling on what they lost, the team made a sharp turn. They reinvented themselves because they had no other choice. In sports, when you're backed into a corner and excuses are easy to make, choosing not to use them shows your true character. Indiana chose resilience.
I love you!
The message came from head coach Stephanie White. Simple, steady, and clear. Be where your feet are. It might sound like a cliche, but for this team, it became a rule to live by. Stop worrying about Clark being out. Stop focusing on the 5 missing players. Stay present. Focus on this play, this role, this responsibility. Don't use what's missing as an excuse. Use it as motivation to strengthen what's left. That mindset showed right away in their game against the Lynx.
Teams have ever done that. 7 of them went on to win the title. As Boston gets free and lays it in.
She will be on my first team.
Boston in the paint, sneaks through 2 and lays it in.
Indiana came out swinging, both mentally and physically, jumping to a 10-0 lead before Minnesota could react. They didn't look like a shorthanded team. They weren't acting like victims. They controlled the pace, attacked passing lanes, and locked in on defense as if their season depended on it. because it did.
Here's Boston off the steal. Coast to coast. And in for two. Here comes Sims. A little hop. She took it inside the arc. Boston able to finish. Looked like she was getting hugged, but was persistent.
Every player bought into scrapping for possessions, clawing for rebounds, and creating energy instead of waiting for someone else to provide it. It wasn't always silky or smooth, but it was relentless, and that relentless nested the floor.
Turner finds the cutter. Sims using the window on a really nice...
Pieces came together in surprising ways. Aaliyah Boston became more than just a force in the paint. She turned into the centerpiece of the offense. Playing like a guard in a center's body, she ran plays from the post and forced defenses to adjust the moment she touched the ball. She matched her rebounding record, grabbed every loose ball, and gave Indiana stability whenever they needed it.
Game with the Fever in their ever-expanding roster because of their injuries. Williams went for the steal. Powers sticks the jumper from three.
That was the clear side of the floor, and Natisha Heidemann read the defense beautifully.
Howard, good position on the interior. Draws two, kicks it out. Powers, you bet. Back-to-back threes from Ariel Powers. Caitlin Clark, euphoric on the bench.
Odyssey Sims, often overlooked, stepped up like she'd been saving this moment all along. She scored 15 points off the bench, but even more valuable was the calm she brought to the backcourt, steadying the team's rhythm. After the win, she said, *, the new season starts Sunday. *, it wasn't just talk. It was a clear statement that Indiana had reset and found new life in the middle of the chaos.
Draws two defenders, races away. Hull steps inside and flips it in. Really patient. Odyssey Sims with 13, Kelsey Mitchell with 12, Jessica Shepard with 12, Alana Smith with 11. Here's Hull, another.
When the Lynx made their run, Ariel Powers stepped up. She drilled back-to-back threes that silenced Minnesota's bench. It was more than just two shots. They showed confidence and defiance.
Love players who can guard multiple positions, and Hull's ability to slide seamlessly has become a backbone piece of this team's defense. Add in her presence as a capable scorer who doesn't need set plays run for her, and you see why she's become indispensable.
Tonight for Indiana, but then Bolton gives it right back, and Howard cashes in.
To perform like this, but they have 5 different players almost at all times who can bring the ball up the floor. Usually 4 or 5 who are adept at making shots from deep. I mean, you just saw a big there creating her own look as well from Natasha Howard. Career high in terms of her field goal percentage, and you see her here, the little spin to the middle. That's a tough shot.
Powers wasn't hesitating or second-guessing. She took shots that showed everyone this team believed. Meanwhile, Lexi Hull kept playing her usual unsung role, the kind every coach values. Guard a bigger forward? No problem. Defend the perimeter? Easy. Hustle on closeouts? Automatic. She didn't need set plays to shine, but she made every rotation sharper and every possession harder for Minnesota. Natasha Howard played her steady, experienced game, spreading the floor, grabbing rebounds, and holding down the paint. Her presence let Boston dominate without being stretched too thin.
All the other things like offensive rebounding that she can do.
Knocked away, Boston comes up with a steal. Here is Mitchell veering through the paint and lays it in.
She's so quick, and especially when she gets out in the open floor, you'll see her coming down. The quick left to right crossover just gets by. I thought she was sprinting. I didn't think she was lumbering.
It was a lumber
sprint. Up for the big girl.
Mitchell like a blur. That's
the end of the night. 5 Fever players scored in double figures. That wasn't luck. It was culture. Indiana showed their offense doesn't depend on one star.